It's going to be the tree trunk to a large oak tree, which, it's going to be a tree with a herd of cows underneath it. We have to make the trunk on the potter's wheel and then build all the branches on when it's partly dry. It's got to dry for a day, approximately a day. So that'll be overnight. And then when it's what's called leather hard, a sort of cheesy state, then one can build on the branches. The clay's firm enough to be able to stand more weight. Finish the roots now, so I'll turn it over and just sponge over that area I've finished modelling down there. I've always worked from my memory straight into the clay. I've got quite a good memory, and if I just keep that in my mind and transfer it into the clay from the thing I've seen, it seems to work quite well. I decided that I was going to be, a well-known painter. It's ridiculous, really, but when I was about 14, I decided that was the thing I was going to be really good at. And then my art teacher at school sent me to Salford Technical College, which is outside Manchester. A little tiny art school, and my art teacher's husband was the pottery teacher there, and he was a brilliant teacher. The moment I put my hands on clay, I loved it, and he was particularly good, so he encouraged me, and I got so engrossed in it. I decided that would be the way I'd earn my living. Even in the first few months, I decided I was going to have a studio pottery. Never had any second thoughts about it. And then I got the opportunity to teach at Pottery Art School, which is an adult education centre, and I've been doing that for the last few years, and absolutely love it, because working on my own, one tends to get introspective, and one doesn't see enough of people, and it makes it a two-way thing. Life's very sort of full of contradictions, because I hate being on my own, and yet I obviously love potting enough to go on doing it on my own, and almost every week I think now, I'll do something else, I'll take up something else, and I don't. Well, I put the props in because I had more and more smaller branches. It gets very heavy, and the whole thing would collapse. I'm making leaves for the tree, and it starts off being a bit like making pastry, but I think it looks rather like chocolate leaves. My rhythm is sort of all go or all stop, so I work not very long hours, but with great intensity. I'm extraordinarily clumsy, and I break things continually, and I spill things, and I'm carrying cups of tea, and people are amazed. I think I'm amazed at myself ever being able to complete anything, and I'm a messer. And yet, perhaps to sort of compensate for that, I am very orderly. I have to be very orderly. I make this terrible mess when I'm working, but every day I mop the whole floor and clean my overalls. Go from one extreme to the other. To make a tree from beginning to end, including the animals, takes about 2.5 days. That's including all the processes. I'm going to make some cows now. This is one I've already made. You can see the finished thing. And I'm going to throw the body and neck part on the potter's wheel as a little bottle form. I always do these on the potter's wheel because it sets me off with a hollow form, and otherwise they have to be hollowed out anyway, because you can't fire a very solid piece of clay. It won't dry out properly. This is how I'm making fruit for a fruit tree, pears or apples or sheep. I always make all the parts like this. I'm pouring oxide on the biscuited tree first, and that's the basic brown colour. That's a blacky brown colour. People often ask me how I get the animals to look anatomically right and really sheep-like or cow-like. And this I don't really know. I know that I'm very observant and it tends to be intuitive. With the cows, I'm going to put a blob of wax on their forehead so that we get a white star there. It'll resist the next glaze because I'm going to dip the head in a darkish brown glaze and the tail, so we get the cows being brown and white, sort of Ayrshire. When this has been fanned, it'll come out a bright yellowy green, sort of spring green. I'm going to rub away some of the white glaze with a brush so that the black will show through more clearly. And when the oxide shows through, it gives the impression of bark. The glazed tree will be in the kiln fouring for 12 hours, and I do it overnight. And then the following morning I have to keep an eye on it, a very careful eye, and I have to look through the spy hole. And then it has another day cooling. How do I make it? How do I colour it? Yes, people are particularly fascinated with the glazes and the colour, because most pottery, most English studio pottery is stoneware, and stoneware tends to be soft greys and browns. And they are fascinated by it being so, yes, using such a lot of colour.